Hello again, Sandwich. Welcome back in for another edition of Meet the Candidates. By the way, if you have watched every single one of them, one, you're smart. Two, I think you're a little bit of a political geek. It's a fun time in politics here in Sandwich because we have 2 open seats for the selectmen, and we have 3 open seats on the school committee, a lot of things going on. This is our opportunity to take a 30-minute snapshot discussion with one of those candidates. We have decided to open it up to every person who is running for office, whether it is selectman or school committee, and we hope you've enjoyed them. On Wednesday, April 5th, there will be a Sandwich Candidates Forum that will be taking place upstairs at the town hall in the evening, and that will be a debate. This is not. This is basically a conversation between me and a gentleman by the name of Sean Rausch, who is running for school committee.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Well, thank you. You are hoping to go into your 2nd term.
That is correct.
So you've had 1 term as selectman for 3 years. My obvious question to you is, tell me a little bit about your achievements over those last 3 years.
Well, there's been a few, and one that the first one I'll go with. I'll just kind of go chronologically here.
Yeah.
Was one that I voted against. Was the reconfiguration of the schools. I thought it was too soon. I thought it was too many changes for our kids. But now that we're there, there's definitely some benefits that go along with it, and we're working with it. We're making it work. It's good. It's a good thing. Forestdale's every child a reader, and if you don't get that reading comprehension down early, it makes all the rest of the learning very hard. So I think we're moving up into the right direction. Plus, we have the STEM Academy. The STEM Academy is great. It's bringing in more of that STEM feel and science, technology, engineering, and math, which is all which is really getting them ready for the jobs that they're going to be competing for in the market once they graduate.
So the reorganization and the STEM schools specifically, you voted against it, but it did have that dynamic of early integration, getting kids a little bit more integrated into the school system. Is that something that you're feeling hopeful about? You're feeling like it's going to be a good thing?
Absolutely. We have a designated plan in our district. It's not just you go to school, you go into each grade and move up. There's a designated strategy. So when you come into Sandwich and you know what grade you're going to be in, you kind of have an idea what the focus is going to be on for your child, and I think that's important. And like I said, you go from the reading to the math and then into the high school, and they all kind of go hand in hand. And it's a perfect, I hate to say the term feeder program, but it prepares them, they're prepared for the next level each time.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you a little bit about what separates you from your challengers. But one of your challengers was not your challenger at first when she first entered the race, Nancy Freeman. And she is running for, she was running for the 2-year seat. Now she is running for one of yours. Are you concerned? How do you feel about the competitive environment?
I think it's a great thing. Anytime you have competition, that's good for everybody. Puts everybody on their toes, makes everybody work a little harder. I think it's a great thing. I had the opportunity to meet Nancy Freeman the other night at the meeting, delightful. And I think she comes with a very broad, quite a bit of experience in the educational system between being a teacher and an administrator. So I look forward to hearing her perspectives on things. And like I said, anytime you have more competition, it's a good thing. It makes everybody better.
So when we look at the school district and the school as a business, if you will, it can be competitive.
Yes.
Here on Cape Cod, we have VOTEC, we have private schools, we have charter schools. How does the Sandwich School District, as a public school district, compete against these other alternatives of school choice for parents out there?
Well, I think in many ways. And I'll start off by saying, first of all, wherever a parent thinks that wherever a parent wants to send their child, that's great. You have the final say in your child's education, and no one wants to take that away from you. But I think that here in Sandwich, we have a unique opportunity to not only, with the STEM Academy, to get some of that technical aspect of that you might get, say, at the Voc Tech, not entirely, but you're getting that engineering and all that. We also have a phenomenal arts and music program. I mean, the Lassets are doing amazing things. We have Grease coming up. I've been to some of the performances. They're amazing. I may have even taken part in some of the the open mic nights that they've had.
Okay.
And it's the.
Well, let's see if we have video on that,
Please, no.
Rob. If we can just pull that out.
But I think that gives them, not only do they get the technical aspect, but they also get the arts and music,
Yeah.
and those are the things that actually keep kids in school: arts, music, and athletics, and not that the academic sides don't, but there are a large group of students that's their real reason for going to school every day. That excites them. That's what's going to keep them in school, and I think that's something that we offer that I think is stronger than any other district, and I'd be happy to put up any of our students against, say, any of the other students, and I think from the other schools.
Yeah.
And I think we do very well. I think it would be, pretty much a wash as far as performance for everything. I think we have a great program. We have great teachers, and we have great administration.
Yeah.
So,
you were on the board during the time Dr. Canfield resigned in that whole transition. And it was a very public, not a very pleasant experience. And there was a lot of talk about Nancy Crossman. She was the chair at the time of the board. Accusations, particularly to Crossman directly, about communication. And she sat in this chair and she said, lessons learned. What is your takeaway from that whole experience? I don't need you to get into the details, and I think there's a tremendous effort of let's move on, and Dr. Gould is here, but I am interested in it from a lessons learned perspective from your point of view.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't want to go back and revisit the past and things that we can't change, but I mean, I think communication is something that we can all benefit from, and I think we're seeing that now with Dr. Gould. We have phenomenal communication with her. You have a question, you shoot off an email, you get a response. You may send a phone call, you get a response. It's great, and communication is what makes every relationship better. Be it with your friends, your significant other, your work colleagues, boss, everything. So I mean, the communication is what I guess really the best thing that you can have.
How do you view, anybody, you're in management, and this is a leadership role. It is a very significant responsibility, but being on the school committee, you manage the superintendent. I mean, you have that authority. Is there a risk of having too much micromanaging?
Well, I mean, if you look at the actual role of a school committee member, your goal is to provide guidance to the superintendent. How they carry that out is on them. If and every good relationship, boss to employee is like that. I mean, look at the New England Patriots. You have Bob Kraft, who just stays out of the way.
Yeah. Which he didn't during
exactly.
Forgetting the coach.
The Pete Carroll days?
Before the Pete Carroll days.
Parcells.
Yeah, that was a lot of involvement. So you're right. Your point well taken.
So you got to you oversee, you provide. This is the direction I'd like to go, and you allow them to do it with the skills that they have, and we have a very skilled person in that position right now in Dr. Gould.
Yeah. You and I were talking about the selectmen earlier. How would you describe the relationship between the school committee and the selectmen? And I won't let you say it's fine, because I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying there's always a dynamic in there of they want one thing, we're looking for something else, and
absolutely.
How would you describe it?
I mean, we have our set goals and things that we want to accomplish, and so do they. So. Do we have a good working relationship? Yeah. I mean, it's not like the horror stories I heard years ago before I moved to town. But we do. I mean, they provide us guidance on the budget, and we make it work. If we have any questions, we'll go back to them, and they've been pretty good about answering that. We had multiple meetings, with them during the budget season, and the communication lines were very, very good.
Right. Okay. Boy, that's a great answer, and that's a good answer. And if I were a parent, Because as we had talked about in other conversations, Jim Pierce is leaving the school committee to chase a seat on the selectmen board, and feels that that's a little bit more of an area of influence to be able to contribute, particularly as it relates to resources. But that relationship between the two boards is critical.
Absolutely.
If I'm a parent in town. That was me pontificating, and I'm glad you agree. Let's talk about the budget. Numbers. Tell me about the process. How is it all unfolding? What are your thoughts?
Well, I did vote against the budget this year.
Why?
I really didn't like the budget without the STEM director. I thought the budget itself was sound. As far as the way that they were working with the programs and the numbers and everything, I thought those all jived. But I just wasn't comfortable as far as not having a STEM director. And even though Gil Newton was coming on as a consultant, I still feel that it's a bit of a shakeup, and you have other people that are going to be pulling more weight, which means that they're going to be, someone's going to be less involved with the students, and like a trickle down effect, if you will. And anytime we have a changeover or a transition like that, and non-continuity, if that's even a word.
Yeah.
It's you can't be messing around with the kids' education.
Right.
But overall, and I guess it's maybe just a minor thing, but that was kind of a big deal to me. But the numbers were great.
So then let's look at it from the perspective of that position. The position has been modified. Dr. Gould came up with an alternative. It was not the approach that you wanted. You wanted that position to be locked in. So if I'm a parent of a student in the STEM Academy, how am I feeling knowing that is going forward? Like, what reassurances can you offer that everything will be okay despite the fact that it's not in the budget?
We've got a great administration over there. We've got people like Chip Hill that are going to be involved, and there's good people involved. You step back, you let them do their job. It's a little extra work, but they can, I'm confident that they're in good hands.
Okay. Let's talk about the investment in the future. I was pleased as I was observing with a heightened focus, as you were talking about, with fine arts. With the addition of a new department head in that department, an additional health teacher that will be added, I believe an additional guidance counselor, SCTV, the community television is very much baked into that curriculum up there. I'm going to assume that you like those enhancements.
I do.
But tell me what other enhancements you feel would be worthwhile to pursue, especially as you're now looking at another 3 years on the board to lend a voice towards those items.
Well, thank you. One of the things I'd really like to see, and we're actually kind of in the works on this now. I can't get into too many details, but we're trying to do some improvements to the athletic program. More specifically, a strength and conditioning program. And I think that's great because, first of all, the kids will be less likely to be hurt on the field. So that's, to me, that's paramount. I'd hate to be up there having to deal with a kid who was severely injured. But also what that does, you get a strength and conditioning program in there. That also can eventually become a course offering. Training, sports medicine, things of those along those lines, where not only now are they getting trained for the science, the maths, all that. There's another aspect, another career path that they can look in, and maybe one of our Sandwich graduates could eventually become the next great sports doctor.
So that's an interesting thing. Are there other enhancements that you would like to see?
Obviously, I would love to see the music program just continue to get better and better.
Yeah.
They're doing great things, and right now we really don't have much of a high school band, but I'm sure with the under the leadership of the Lassets, and we'll within a few years we'll have something great.
Good. I want to talk about bullying. In a recent school committee meeting, Dr. Gould raised the discussion about bullying in the context of what Sandwich has done in the past, to, as she says it, understand it, address it, and what do we do about it. She notes that while Sandwich is not unlike any other school in the Commonwealth, there is bullying everywhere. A discussion does need to begin. You were in that meeting. You heard her voice this. She was not, pounding the fist of action items need to be taken, but she was making it very clear that a discussion needs to begin. What was going on in your head at that time, and what are the takeaways that you had from her comments?
Well, it is a very serious issue. When we were in school, you got bullied during the day, or if it happened, you would, at the end, once the bell rung, it was over. Or that was it. Now with the invention of cell phones and social media, you go home, it continues. And I just think that's it's something we definitely need to look at. And there's a certain there are some kids that are definitely going to need help, and we should definitely be there for them. Mm-hmm. But I think there's also something that to be said for teaching conflict resolution skills. Mm-hmm. The bullies are going to be out there. Once you graduate, you go to college, you get a job, there's going to be bullies there. There can be bullies anywhere from your job to elected boards to anywhere. So teaching them these skills that they can have lifelong is definitely something that would be important.
Is there a subcommittee, or is there any function within the school district that addresses bullying directly?
Well, I think definitely, it's kind of everybody's involved in that, between the guidance councils, teachers. If somebody sees something, they're gonna get involved.
Right. So do we do enough from a policy perspective? And I know policies are not going to stop the hands from smacking someone in the head, but a policy does give some perspective and some groundwork. Are our policies strong enough?
I think they're strong right now, but as with anything, especially with such a serious issue, they could be, anything can always be improved upon. And that's, some of the things we've been working on as part of the policy subcommittee.
Okay. Let's shift gears to substance abuse. Not your own, because I frankly don't care what your substance abuse issues are. And for the love of God, don't bring up mine. So we're in agreement?
Deal. Mutually assured destruction, right?
Exactly. What do you see as our short-term and long-term approaches that need to be in place or are in place to address substance abuse in the town of Sandwich for kids?
Well, this is a problem that seems to come up every few years now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Every generation seems to have an issue, and it's tragic. We have. You read in the paper daily about some kid, just out of high school or even in high school overdosing.
Yeah.
And it's a tragedy. We're adding a health teacher and everything. We've been working to get that into the curriculum more, so we can provide the students the tools to combat or to make the good decisions. And we're also helping to back up the good work the parents in the community are doing. Mm-hmm. We have good people in this community working really hard on this. Beth Cummings, Denise Clunan, Linnell Grunman, mm-hmm. They've all been at the forefront for the substance abuse. And so we need to work as a community, and we're a part of that.
I'm fascinated with the dynamic of a committee or the Board of Selectmen, or even Bud Dunham sitting in Town Hall, and access to the average Joes like me. And how much are people like yourself that do sit on the school committee really hear the issues on the issue, on the subject of substance abuse or bullying. I'm always wondering, do you get it filtered through committees and the polished up, here's a presentation to the school committee? Or are you walking down the street in Sandwich with a cup of coffee in your hand with your wife, and someone comes up and says, my kid is at risk of overdosing. What is the school committee or the school district going to do about this? How much do you get that rubber on the road?
You do get it. A lot of it is hidden in the, or not hidden, but comes in the
kind of a distilled down presentation.
Exactly. But you do get that email, and you do, and it kind of it's gives you goosebumps a little bit.
Yeah.
And you do get it, and it makes it real, and that's why we're here. That's why we're working.
Yeah. See, and that's what I would want to hear as it relates to a school committee or selectmen, for that matter, to know that you are approachable and that you actually take in what you're hearing, because that raw, unfiltered opinion is often the tipping point for one's decision about how to handle something. Let's talk about Dr. Gould. How do you feel she's doing?
I think she's doing a great job.
Yeah.
I mean, she came in as the interim superintendent, and without batting an eye, was able to step in and lead. There was really no. June 30th, she was it.
Yeah.
She was the superintendent, and she started running, and she's doing a great job. Like I said earlier, the communication is fantastic. You have a question, you get an answer. She's and what I like is she's really excited. She's really excited to get in there. She likes getting her hands dirty with this stuff. And
give me an example of how you see that in her. Kind of that rolling up the sleeves.
We've been very, when it was brought to our attention about some things in the athletic program, she was all for it. And she said, you could see it during the meeting.
Yeah.
You could almost see it, and she was like her mouth was watering. Okay, let's tackle this. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And even just in the way she interviewed, you could tell this is someone who wants to get things done, and is great. And that's why during the interviews, I made it very clear that she was definitely one of my top two for that. And I think we made a good choice, and I think it's working out for us.
She exudes confidence.
Absolutely.
She definitely has talent and drive, but you and I could go into a job tomorrow and it fits our skill set perfectly, but we're still going to have a learning curve. She has been in this position for about a year now, ish. Is there a learning curve, and what are her learning curves still? And I'm speaking with complete respect to her, and I'm not making this a negative. I want to make it real. Are there learning curves with the new superintendent?
Well, there's a learning curve with everything. If I had to come up with something, I would say maybe the rollout of the calendar. But I mean, we passed a calendar, so it, we made everything work. So
yeah, okay. What academic grade would you give her?
Oh,
See, that's called a hardball.
You see, now I'm tempted to go back at some of the teachers that were refused to give me A's in high school.
Yes.
But they probably had good reason for it. So, because I probably didn't deserve the A.
Yeah.
I'll give her somewhere between a B and a B plus A minus.
Okay.
I'm pretty happy.
Still a little room for improvement.
Oh, you know what? Here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
No one's perfect, and there's always room for improvement. If there isn't room for improvement,
Right.
I mean, why we always got to strive to be better.
Yeah.
And I know she's got it in her, so
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where the next 3 years take us.
Yeah. Let's explore a little bit. It's kind of ticks and ties back to the budget, but because the selectmen will give you a big nut. That's the big that's the money you got. Don't spend over, and that's it.
Make it work.
Make it work, and then you start shuffling things around and you allocate. As a parent, I'm always interested in school size, classroom size, and the resources. We know, bar none, that students or that teachers are always pulling out their wallet and contributing their own dollars.
Absolutely.
There just aren't enough resources. How are our teachers here in Sandwich resourced as it relates to being able to do the best that they can for our students?
Well, I mean, first of all, we have amazing teachers in the district here. And they do some amazing things.
Yeah.
I think just like any teacher nationwide right now, they're doing so much with so little.
Yeah.
But I think if we could do more for them, we would.
Yeah.
I can tell you this much: if you're looking to send your kids to you're looking for a district to send your kids, Sandwich is the one to send them to, because you have teachers that can do amazing things.
Okay. In your mind, residents come to the polls and they see your name there, Sean Rausch, and there's a little circle there. I'm going to either circle it or not. And I come to the polls with issues that are important to me. So I have a twofold question. Number one, what are the issues not necessarily the school committee's issues, but what are the real issues that you feel parents are facing? The one, as the parent is standing there pulling cranberry juice off the shelf in Stop and Shop, thinking that issue is still clicking around in my head, keeps me up at night because my son is in the high school or wherever. What are those issues? And then the second part of my question is, well, I'll get to that in a second, but tell me what those issues are that you feel parents have.
Well, you know, I don't have kids, so I can only, well, you know what? I guess that's not even, I feel like I have, 2,800, 2,900 kids.
Yeah.
You know, but.
That's a hell of a lot of birthdays to
It
celebrate.
really is.
That's
those
tough.
$5 bills are getting pretty expensive.
Exactly. And the
But no,
crisp
I mean,
ones.
it's pretty nice when I get to see them outperforming. Kids
Yeah.
like Billy Cummings or Cam Travers.
Yeah.
They're all great. But I think if I was a parent and I was, things that I would vote for. Is my kid going to be safe in the school? Are they going to be safe from bullying? Are they going to be taught? They're going to be given the skills and given an education that they can use going forward. I think those are the things that I would look for. But I mean, I think just with like anything like that, everybody has their reasons. You take 10 people, you line them up, you could get 10 different reasons.
Yeah.
And you know what? They're probably all valid.
Right.
They're probably all valid. Because you can't tell a parent that their reason is wrong for their kid, because it's not.
So why would I circle Sean Rausch and say he's got my vote? Give me your reasoning.
Well, I think for me, I've been a constant advocate for students and families. I think I've been an advocate for the arts and music, and I would continue to be that. But it's also stability, continuity. I've been here, I'm experienced, I have 3 years now. I'd like to take those 3 years and take that and do more with the board.
Yeah.
I would just say consistent advocacy for students.
Advocacy is a big thing when you're in a position of power, and it's easy to be detached. It's easy to kind of detach yourself from the real issues. Here is another issue that you're not bringing up, that I will bring up, that I think that that is a good vote for you. And I'm going to support this. Show me your socks.
So today I have the red socks with the black sharks on them.
Yes, don't show any skin. We don't want to see skin.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's just gross. But see, Sean and I both have an interest in socks. I'm not as colorful, but you are. It's an old George Bush thing. He's got the socks. That shows personality. That shows a sense of humor. And everyone back in the control room is like, what the heck, Greg?
Did they just put their feet on the table?
Their shoes are on the table. Hey, Sean, good luck.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, well, it's good to talk to you, and I wish you luck. I also want to give a big thank you to Paula Johnson for helping to put this whole thing together. She is the executive producer of Meet the Candidate. She does it every year. I'm thrilled to work with her and this amazing team here at SCTV. We really believe in bringing you thoughtful discussion, topics that are going to help you as a voter to really understand what it means to vote for one candidate versus another. I hope to see you at the upcoming Sandwich Candidates Forum. That will be on April 5th upstairs at Town Hall. That will be your opportunity to raise questions to the candidates, watch them spar a little bit, or at least if you haven't met them, it's a good opportunity to meet them as well. The forum is sponsored by Sandwich Enterprise and Sandwich Community Television, a fantastic partner indeed. Thank you for your time and your interest. I'm Greg Anderson, and I'll see you soon.